He has lifelike hair and talks the language of tomorrow.
If Norm Jones wasn't Norm Jones, he wouldn't be Norm Jones.
Duh.
It's the Norm Jones Show.
Get this guy a jockstrap and a cookie.
Only on WJML.
And on Facebook, I should say, also, good morning, everybody. It is the 30th day of January, and we did get a little bit under the clock here this morning. Go ahead and count to 10 real quick for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Hey,
8.
it works. For some reason, I couldn't get that thing to pick up last night, but I switched around because Elisa Korn should be our guest this morning. And we will start with the weather forecast. We have some pretty serious weather on the way. Could be, anyway.
Yeah, and a warning of some kind, huh?
Yeah. Scattered snow showers into tonight. Most flurries, if anything, up to an inch of snow possible near Lake Michigan and the lower peninsula, near Lake Superior and in the upper peninsula. Overnight lows will be below zero. 1 below to 18 above. Tuesday, again, a chilly day today, high of maybe 28. Scattered snow showers expected. The sun may break through this afternoon. And again, snow will move through northern Michigan tonight. Could see 3 to 4 inches in parts of the northern lower and UP. Widespread snow for a few hours. Visibility will be an issue for travelers into tonight, into Wednesday. Not just because of the snow by itself. The wind will increase 25 miles an hour. Yeah. Anyway, I want you to hear something here because I think I did. I think I'm not going to get booted out for doing this. I picked this up. Tell me what you think of a show opening here before we get to our headlines. Here we go.
Cool weekends in the morning, point one FM.
Cool weekends in the morning with Weenie
In the morning, cool weekends.
FM.
Weenie. And welcome back. Can I use your mic? That's what she said. Whoa, you got butt slam. Ho, 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 ho. That's what he said. Butt slam. That's Manic Monkey on point one.
Manic Monkey One.
Cool weekends in the morning. All weekend long. In the morning. On the radio.
Hey, that's quite a voice you've got there. You ever think about doing radio?
I think we have a wiener. And that's Dickie the Punchline Donkey on point one.
Dickie the Punchline Donkey on point one.
Weekend.
On the radio.
In the morning.
FM.
Credit to Seth MacFarlane and the group from Family Guy for that.
I didn't hear much of it, but that's cool.
Well, it's kind of a satire on exactly what people do in the morning zoo. It's crazy. It's a morning zoo. Whoa.
It's a morning zoo here.
Well,
Look at that.
Look at that. A couple of dogs fighting over there.
Parker thought he was in the show, and then
Benny decided, yeah.
Benny decided that's not exciting enough. Parker's been sitting in the chair. No. Come on. That's enough, little babies.
Anyway, that's what is going on. Again, Lisa Korn should be with us. She was at the Jack Bergman event. And also I heard back from John James, who is a Republican candidate, taking on Debbie Stabenow. No easy task. But he has contacted me. And, yeah, we're probably going to have to go to a news update here. Let's go ahead and, we're going to go ahead and go to news. Get rid of dogs. You never know. You know what? You know when it's going to be, we're going to be on the air because the dogs start sounding off right now. An update from ABC. And what's coming up?
It's Tuesday, January 30th. Here's what else we're working on. As President Trump prepares for his first State of the Union tonight, we visit a Pennsylvania steel town that voted red, but 1 year later may be having a change of heart. Find out why the Pentagon is worried about a fitness app. Could it be endangering American troops overseas? And an American skier is set to make history in South Korea, but first he had to make a big and scary decision off the slopes. Hear his inspiring story. It's all on the way right here.
The flu epidemic is still spreading, and now doctors are concerned the Super Bowl could spread the virus even further. ABC's Eva Pilgrim explains.
The flu epidemic pushing hospitals to their limit. At Grady Hospital in Atlanta, a team is setting up the country's first mobile emergency unit to handle what doctors say is a historic demand for care.
I've been working at Grady now for almost 15 years. I've not seen it this bad in those 15 years.
Already this season, 37 children have died from the flu, compared to 21 at this time last year. More families are sharing their stories to help others. Maria Paniagua's friend says Maria was 7 months pregnant when she got the flu, then pneumonia. She says they put her in a coma to try to save her life, but could not save the baby.
Be careful with that, because if you're pregnant, you go in the hospital, you or your baby survive, and maybe neither one survive, both can die.
Carly Slavin was a busy mother who didn't get the flu shot herself, but got sick and died after caring for her husband and 2 kids. Her father is encouraging others to get the vaccine.
We're doing this for her. They'd all had their shots, and they got over everything pretty well.
As more than 1 million people descend on Minneapolis for the big game, doctors concerned the Super Bowl crowd will bring an uptick of the flu. Organizers wiping down hands-on exhibits and equipment, parents doing their part too.
Organizers are encouraging fans, get your flu shot before you come.
ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
From ABC News, Wall Street Now. Investors were in retreat on Monday, leading the Dow Jones 177 points lower at 26,439.
And good morning, everybody. I am Norm Jones. We're off and running on this Monday. Everybody's looking forward to some warm weather, but I have to tell you, it's not going to last. You knew that. It was January. We will talk about that forecast, as a matter of fact, up front. Rather mild morning this morning.
That's cutting into the amount we're socking away for retirement. ExxonMobil says it will invest more than $50 billion in expansion over the next 5 years, thanks to the company's own strength and the recent corporate tax cuts. The company plans to increase oil production, build new manufacturing, and expand current operations. Just because it's virtual money doesn't mean that it can't be stolen. Hackers broke into Japan's CoinCheck exchange and stole $530 million in cryptocurrency. 260,000 investors lost money. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And welcome back to the broadcast. Sorry about the jump there in our video. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, a previous show was playing. Proving to you it's live, ladies and gentlemen. It is live. It is not Memorex, if you remember those commercials. Right?
That's right, yeah. It's Memorex. No.
There was another spin-off
has to be
of
live.
that ad, and I think it was for Memorex, with the dude sitting in his chair with sunglasses on, his hair being blown back in front of a speaker due to the high quality, the high fidelity. Do you remember that? There was a poster almost in everybody's bedroom.
Yeah. I do remember the lady breaking the glass.
Yeah.
And then
is
the
it live
Memorex.
or is it Memorex?
It broke the glass either
Anyway,
way.
Lisa Korn and I are communicating right now, and she says she's brewing up some good stuff just now, but she cannot be on the show today. So we'll go to Dan, and he is with Book Brokers in Traverse City, and that was a suggestion on our website, so we certainly appreciate that, and also the web page.
So he'll be our pre-recorded guest.
Right, he'll be up in about 20 minutes. A couple of different things going on in the news today. President Trump using his first State of the State address tonight. That broadcast is carried live, obviously, and that's going to be at 9 o'clock tonight. So we're looking at a little less than 14 hours. His first State of the Union address to extend an olive branch across the aisle. Now, I want to mention something here that I didn't before. This is Fox News, okay, because I'm going to share with you from CNN in a second here, just to show you that there's bias there. And I'm not anti-CNN at all. We've talked about how they've moderated and but nonetheless, here's not so much so on the website, certainly. Anyway, State of the Union, Trump going to reach across the aisle to make bipartisan deals on second-year agenda priorities like immigration and infrastructure. But what's less clear is whether the president will get buy-in from Democrats who have been bashing his immigration deal proposals, who are wary of helping him secure policy victories in the midterm election year. right? Midterms. That has a lot to do with it because elections mean power, power means money, and that makes the world go round. I think Donald Trump is going to offer Democrats certain deals, says Bill McGurn. They may not like the terms on immigration, infrastructure, and so forth. Senior administration officials says Trump will emphasize his trillion-dollar infrastructure plan to rebuild the country's roads, bridges, ports, and tracks, whatever that is. Anyway, that is Fox. Now, I'm going to let you share a story here, Miss Kathy. But here's CNN, okay?
Okay, just 1 second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Jump. Go to a find if you want. We can do that. We'll go to Lisa Larona's little photo here. Okay. She's grabbing his business card, I believe. Mm-hmm. Anyway, listen to this. Donald Trump embarks on his debut State of the Union address tonight with a formidable assignment of shoring up a presidency, again, CNN, threatened by a Russia scandal that is sowing rancor in Washington and tearing at national unity. If the pattern of Trump's presidency up to now holds, his political base will give his speech an enthusiastic welcome and regard any criticism of the president as a typical response of a biased mainstream media. But you're proving it right now. I digress. But saddled with approval ratings below 40%, it's a fact the president's capacity to win over the rest of the nation is compromised. Loser. Down with Trump. Down with Trump. That is from Fox.
From Fox, yeah.
From CNN. CNN versus Fox.
Uh-huh.
So I know you have a couple of things you want to share with us. But,
okay. Yep.
Do that.
I was just going to write on about Dr. Dan being since we didn't tell him ahead of time. We thought
I'm glad you did.
I didn't do that.
Well, you can always watch a rebroadcast. 7:13 Tuesday morning, second to the last day of January.
Is this Tuesday morning? Oh.
Last I checked.
All right. Sorry. Okay. We do have some news from Antrim County. Annual White Paint Stampede is supposed to take place this weekend in Antrim County. Mm-hmm. However, a significant lack of snow has race organizers concerned that they may need to cancel. This happens like every year that there's some kind of issue. Isn't it weird? You think that the middle of it seems like it's worse for the White Paint Stampede. You think that this would be a perfect time to have a ski race here, but. And I think I'm beginning to wonder if it's better earlier when we get all that lake effect snow, every year. So, anyways, the event consists of 3 races, a 50K, 20K, and 10. Right now, organizers say there needs to be at least another foot of snow for all 3 races to go on as planned. Chances of that are slim, but you never know.
Forecast. 3 to 4 inches is what we mentioned tonight into Wednesday. Maybe.
Yeah, but race director Jack McCaig says a few inches could save 2 of the races. That's what's on the ground. He just says what's on the ground is just too icy. It could be dangerous. If we have to move the start or whatever I have to do, I don't think we will get in 20 kilometers, but maybe we can get something in. I don't know. We'll just have to look. So McCaig said it would be a shame to have to cancel the event because the race brings in hundreds of people from all over the Midwest who spend their money in the Manzanillo and surrounding areas. He said he'll make a final decision on Wednesday. Yeah, all the, the budgets for all these businesses include the money from this, but.
Certainly
if they can't, I hope they can do at least the 20 and the 10 like they did last year, because it makes it more fun for the people in the 10, because the faster, the more pro-ish type,
right,
professional type racers, they'll do the 20, and then so the 10 you feel like like I got a second place win in my age group last year in the 10, and I was like, cool. Well, the thing with last year, it was kind of weird, is they canceled the 50, and so they gave medals, had planned out giving medals for the 50 and the 20. So then they didn't have the 50, and so they only gave medals to the 20. So the people in the 10 are like, I'm like, why don't you just give the 50 medals, 50K medals to the 10 people so they can feel like, yay, it's more fun. It just didn't make sense. So this year they had announced earlier that they're going to give medals to everybody, but it was just funny.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see, what happens. I don't know if I'm going to do it either way. I've just not been in as good a shape because I've been sick. So
sure. We do have some AM snow showers in the forecast, but tonight going into tomorrow. However, high tomorrow, 38.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go again.
Mhm.
Makes people like me happy, but that's not what it's about this time of year, really. Thursday, look for some slight chance of snow, then just cloudy on Friday. Now, the day of the race, Saturday, correct?
Mhm.
We have an 80% chance of snow and a high of 20. Too little, too late, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Then we get the Vasa the next weekend, so hopefully.
Friday's high is 12.
Yeah.
Sunday and
Whew.
Monday's high in the teens, so that's what you have there.
Yeah, no snow and cold.
I guess. Manistee Police Department is currently looking for locating a man they say broke into a home on early yesterday morning. This according to UpNorthLive.com. Again, get there. They have an app as well. I meant to ask you about this, right? Up North Live must have an app. I think everybody has an app.
They do. Oh, yeah, they notify me through their app.
Has one, 910news.com.
Right.
Anyway, they are looking for a man who broke into a home. The department says they received a home invasion call around 12:18, so just after midnight, in the 400 block of 2nd Street in Manistee.
Mm-hmm.
Investigators say a man who was wearing a mask and armed with a handgun forced his way into the home and demanded cash. 75-year-old victim not injured. The Manistee Police Department says the armed man was wearing dark-colored clothing, described as being short. Specifically between 5 foot and 5'3". You would tower over this man. Anyway, community members, that helps with the description, maybe community members and those who live in the area taking matters into their own hands. Julia Sullivan Cook leads the neighborhood watch in the area. The burglary happened. She's encouraging the community to take part in the Light Up campaign. And everybody turns on their porch lights, their back lights, any lights they have, and leave them on all night, a way to show solidarity.
Wow, it makes it harder for the crooks, to...
Crooks like dark.
Yeah, exactly. We should do that. We have street lights, and so we don't end up doing that. But maybe wouldn't be a bad idea here.
Well, we have roommates Smith and Wesson too. So.
Yeah, right. Well, more likely the things that would be a deterrent would be the puppy dogs.
The dogs, yeah. Yeah.
Especially Jasmine. She looks pretty scary.
Jasmine looks
scary. Any person who watches our house, they see her and like, I think I'll go to another house.
That's true, but she kind of ruins the scare advantage that Jasmine has when she brings a chew toy to the burglar. Somebody had told me once that that's not necessarily true. Goldens, Labs Retrievers, whatever. I was taking a dog obedience class, and Laura Salvatore, if you know that name, she says, my breed of dog, the Goldens, will hold the flashlight for the burglar. But dogs, they can sense when things are not going well.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what else?
The thing about that too, that burglar, that's scary. Can you imagine just somebody just showing up in your house? Middle of the night,
Said it 100 times, and I'll say it again. The law says they trespass, they get what they get, but I will always stand by making sure that it's not an older person with dementia, making sure they're not just trashed out of their mind and went in the wrong door. Some people will say, well, shoot them, you got the right. Well, yeah, you have the right too. But I think that I would make the judgment call. Now, if they have a gun pointed at my face, all bets are off. But that may have been the situation of Manistee, but it may not have been. We got off the beaten path there a little bit. So, What else is going on? I understand that the flu season is not down and out yet, Kathy.
This is not a good flu season, and it's getting worse. Health officials last week said the flu was blanketing the country, but they thought there was a good chance the season was already peaking. But the newest numbers out Friday show that it's grew even more intense. This is a season that has a lot more steam than we thought, said Dr. Dan Jernigan of the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. One measure of this season is how many doctor hospital visits are because of high fever, cough, and other flu symptoms. 32 states reported high patient traffic last week, up from 26 the previous week. Overall, it was the busiest week for flu symptoms in 9 years. Hawaii is the only state that doesn't have worldwide illness.
Repeat that last one again.
Hawaii is the only state that doesn't have worldwide illness.
Let's go.
I know this is what I'm thinking. This is the time of year where everyone goes there. They're going to have it.
Exactly. They're going to spread it from the 48 contiguous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, could I write that off my taxes under my health expenses?
What?
My health care. Well, my trip to Hawaii.
Oh, I see.
It should be covered. My insurance should cover it.
That's right. It's a flu prevention.
So that's what you have there.
This year's flu season got to an early start, and it's been driven by a nasty type of flu that tends to put more people in the hospital and cause more deaths than other common flu bugs. In New York, state officials say a drastic rise in flu cases hospitalized more than 1,600 this past week.
Isn't that nuts?
I talked to a lady. Yeah, I talked to a lady here in Traverse City that she ended up in the flu for days, and then it took a couple weeks after that to recover. And I said, "Did you get a flu shot?" "No, I've never had a flu shot." Those are the kind of people that when they come up to me and I was like, "So you want a flu shot?" "Oh, I never get one, and I never get sick." I'm like, well, "You get sick once, and then I'll be seeing you every year," and they're risking death. I mean, they are risking death now
through dehydration.
I don't know. Well, no, from this illness.
Immune systems. You know more about that than I do. But you have to admit that this year's flu vaccine.
It isn't just the weak people that are getting it. It's everybody, and they're getting into the hospital.
Give me a little here. We know that this batch of vaccines this year didn't hit the mark.
I don't think that's the case. I think it's just bad.
I've read it several places.
They said that early on, but you don't hear that now.
Well, I don't know.
How many of these people at the end when it's all said and done? Let's see how many of the people that end up in the hospital had flu shots.
Okay.
That was early on. They were saying that, but they wait till it's all done, and we'll see. I would be surprised. I think we'll find out that it's still the best prevention there is. So I wouldn't blame the flu shot.
I don't have an adverse reaction to it, and I don't believe a lot of what they say. But there's so many. There are so many conspiracy theories about vaccines and things like that. It makes me want to just take the whole thing and throw it out the window and say, I don't listen anymore. I don't listen anymore. Oh, I'm gonna get emails. I'll get information on this of people saying, oh, vaccines are awful. Look, we've eliminated an awful lot of diseases because of vaccines. So I don't want to get into it.
I've heard before when they came out with the polio vaccine, the people were lining up with their families. They thought it was a miracle that there could be a vaccine.
Sure.
And now people are saying poo-pooing, giving it to their kids.
There's a million stories there. One of the world's most iconic cars, considered lost for 4 decades, is in Traverse City today. Thank you to Luke Haas. He is with The Ticker, the Robert Murdoch of the publishing world in Traverse City with the Northern Express, The Ticker, and Traverse City Business News. Anyway, the Ford Mustang Bullitt. Now, I'm not a car aficionado, but you may have heard of that before.
I know. I've heard the Ford Mustang, but not the Bullitt.
Anyway, the Mustang Bullitt, driven by Steve McQueen in the 1968 film called Bullitt.
Okay.
Has made its way into the large display window at Hagerty Insurance in downtown Traverse City.
Cool.
After a saga so unbelievable, it merits its own movie. As a matter of fact, I saw a picture of this on The Ticker. Go to The Ticker, Google it, and you'll see a picture of it. And it's not pretty. It has not been restored. Yeah. It's in its state. That it's in. I'm not going to say original or else it'd look new. The film itself is celebrated for its realistic edge of your seat, I think is what they meant here, a little typo. Car chase scenes with McQueen darting through the streets of San Francisco. Once the film was complete in 1968, 2 bullets used went their separate ways. One was reportedly crushed.
One was crushed.
Who are we emailing here?
We are sharing the show and putting it on who our guest is because our guest changed from what it was supposed to be.
I always get curious.
I would never email or text and fool around during the show. Only do show things. Go ahead.
Okay. One of the cars was crushed. The other traded hands a few times until being purchased for $6,000 in 1974. Bought it for $6,000. Bob Kiernan, let me make sure I'm reading that right. Kiernan, who responded to a classified ad in Road and Track. Initially, McQueen himself attempted unsuccessfully to buy the car back. Wow, $6,000. He couldn't do it. Anyway, Kiernan's wife actually used the car as a daily driver for a while. And eventually, the family and the iconic car moved to a farm in Nashville. So she used it as a beater. That's where Bob Kiernan and his son, Sean, tucked it away in a garage on their property. For decades, the car sat in disrepair while the father and son harbored hopes of one day to restore it. Thank goodness they didn't. You know, I can see my dad and me out there putting Bondo on it. The family told, I'm serious though, right?
Yep.
The family told virtually no one that under a tarp in their small garage was one of the most famous and valuable cars in the world. So Mr. Kiernan passed away 4 years ago. There are several chances to see and learn more about the Bullet during its brief stay in Traverse City. This Friday, 7 to 9 in the morning. Guess where the iconic car is going to be?
Where?
Where would the iconic car be?
7 to 9 in the morning?
Where would they?
At our show?
Haggerty?
Oh, I thought,
our show, yeah.
I thought you said it was going to be that's the time. You said it was going to be at Haggerty.
7 to 9 at Haggerty. Oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So that's what was confusing me. Are they taking it somewhere else at 7 a.m.?
So anyway, at 7 to 9, Haggerty will host the public Cars and Caffeine session. On Sunday at 10, the original Bullet film will be shown free at the State Theater. A sneak preview of a documentary film about the car's fantastic history will also be shown. That would be, I'm not going to hustle down to a theater to see it, but I would like to see it eventually. Then on Tuesday, this is next Tuesday, the Bullet owner, Sean Kiernan, will be in Traverse City, the son of the man who passed, joined by Historic Vehicle Association president to present collector and the car sessions, 12:45, 1:30, and 2. Though the car's long-term future is not yet known, it could eventually end up on display. It's worth about $4 million. And they have security around the car. $4 million car. It's old beat-up Mustang, but nonetheless, there you go. So check that out if you wish.
Okay. So, in University Place, Washington, a suspected pizza robbers are now behind bars. A hefty
breaking news.
Yeah, a hefty price to pay for dodging a $80 pizza order. The Pizza Hut delivery woman called the Pierce County Sheriff's deputies Friday evening, reporting that she had just been robbed at gunpoint. She told deputies she received an order from a phone number with a 980 area code for an apartment in the 7300 block of Chambers Creek Road. When she arrived, she couldn't find the customer, so she called the number back, at which point he told her to meet him in front of one of the other apartment buildings a few blocks away. As she drove to that building, got out of the car, she was approached by two men, one of which held a gun to her leg and demanded the food. The men then took the food and walked away, while the woman drove away and called 911. They're just so stupid. So detectives called the Pizza Hut the restaurant to check the 980 phone number to see if any previous orders had been placed under that account. And sure enough, an order had been placed 4 days earlier with that phone number, but under a different name to an address at the same apartment where the robbery occurred. The deputies went to that unit, and as soon as they knocked on the door, deputies could hear loud music and several voices inside, in addition to the smell of marijuana.
They got the munchies.
Yeah.
And they can't afford $80 for the pizza.
So,
which is
so dumb. So let's call and give a different address, and then tell her to come down here. They'll never figure it out.
As a cop once told me, we're very lucky that criminals are stupid. For the most part, you never know. Steve Wynn, he owns so many casinos in Las Vegas, Bellagio, etc. I can't name them all. Anyway, he lost $463 million reportedly by the Wall Street Journal because of alleged sexual misconduct by the mogul. This came out December last year. Reported the Wynn holds 12,230,000 shares of Wynn Resort stocks, yada, yada. Anyway, they denied the allegations. They say it's part of a divorce that he's being smeared. These claims, even the valid ones, are being diminished by this slow dripping of sexual harassment. Well, we take it seriously. That's the fact. So.
And okay, yeah, this is one of yours, I think.
Man faces a complaint of indecent exposure after police say, "Oh no." No, he was in the emergency room and he was unhappy, so he thought he'd make himself
get happy.
Happy.
All right. Enough of that one.
Next.
All right.
Turn the page.
Okay. Well, this is in Grand Traverse County. Traverse City cyclist has received 4-year sanction from competing in U.S. cycling events due to an anti-doping rule violation. We had doping here in the Iceman Cometh. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh, doping
is
scandal.
Is there a lot of money involved there?
Doping scandal. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The winner of the Iceman Cometh, I think, of the pros, they get like $20,000 or something like that.
And
then they can do other races.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It
and
opens
compete.
the door for a lot of other ones. So is this? I put that out there. His name has already been released. Craig Webb, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably don't know this individual.
I think I met him. I think I remember him. He's 57 years old, though. But I'm pretty sure I've met him. And I think he might have won last. I think he was. I don't know if he was the guy that won last year, and I met his parents and took pictures of him with his parents and all that. If it's the one I'm thinking of, but anyways, he was selected at the Iceman Cometh Challenge to submit a sample because he was one of the top finishers in his age group. The U.S. ADA says Webb refused to provide the sample, which is a violation under the U.S. ADA protocol for the Olympic and Paralympic movement testing.
Wow.
So he's 4 years, no competing.
I want to head, that was upnorthlive.com, and I want to go back to their page for just a second here and share your forecast. High of 22 today, slight chance of snow. AM snow showers tomorrow, 80% chance, and look for a high of around 38 on Wednesday. By Thursday, 20. Friday, Saturday, calling for highs of 12 on Friday, 20 on Saturday, and then in the teens on Sunday and Monday. I'm watching the radar right now, as a matter of fact. Again, this is upnorthlive.com, and it shows some lake effect snow bands. I'm not sure how much is falling.
Well, lake effect, we could
and Antrim, Kalkaska counties, and just the tip of the Old Mission Peninsula. But exactly how much is coming down, I don't know. But cloudy skies anyway. So You popping that up right now too?
Yeah. Well, I'm sending an email to Dan to let him know.
Yeah.
But
I thought you did that already.
No, I didn't. I just put it on the show.
Oh.
So
we'll let him know later. He'll see it. It's going to replay.
It's kind of fun to watch yourself live when you're a fan of the show.
Sometimes.
The average life expectancy in the U.S. has declined for the second consecutive year, according to a new report by the Centers for Disease Control, reversing the decades-long trend by coming in at 78.6 years. 2-year decline in the average life expectancy in America has not happened since 62 and 63. And if you're the reason for this is surprising. Drug overdose mortality has been going up for the last decade, but in the past, those increases have been more than completely offset by the decline in cardiovascular diseases mortalities. Bob Anderson.
In other words, advances in treating cardiovascular
overcame
disease.
it, so we still went up. But now
it's gone down because of the opioid.
Yeah, with an essential flat rate in the cardiovascular disease, the advances haven't gone up; they kind of stayed flat. The increase in drug overdose death have risen to prominence, and they're sort of driving the overall pattern, which is not something we saw earlier in the last decade. So the rate of increase in drug overdoses in 2015 to 2016 was greater than any other one-year increase before in a year. Sad.
So serious we are.
It is a serious issue. I know Congressman Bergman the other day said wants to have an opioid committee, but and I know many laws were just passed and signed by Governor Snyder trying to deal with the problem, but a lot of it doesn't deal with the doesn't deal with the, what am I trying to say?
The root problem?
Well, with treatment. A lot of it's like regulation, but not treatment.
Right.
And in fact, I do have a little picture we can put up in a bit. And then we can post it on the website about that hockey game that's raising money.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, that was a good piece.
Yeah.
A woman may face charges after 2 assaults at a Traverse City bar. Traverse City police were called to Sidetracks to investigate an assault just past midnight on Sunday. 32-year-old woman was struck in the head with a glass by a 24-year-old woman, according to Keith Gillis, captain. The police investigated, but witnesses would not talk. The following evening, another woman called police to report that she had also been assaulted by the same suspect at Sidetracks. The woman told police it's not necessarily a bad bar, but nonetheless, it did happen. You mix alcohol with whatever. Mm-hmm. The woman told police she knew her assaulter and had not planned to report the incident until she learned of the second assault. Then she was able to provide identifying information so the police could track down the suspect, and she was arrested.
Well,
says she may face charges, so I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns there, I guess. Can't comment on that.
Yeah, well, I've been there with one of somebody we know, just been there she likes to go.
It's a good dance club.
It's interesting to watch. Yeah, I don't feel unsafe there, but the only thing that's scary about it is that when I was there, it was not too long after one of those type bars were shot. Had a shooting.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
That was the scary part, and they didn't see a lot of extra for security.
Yeah. We were for Halloween. We were out and entertaining the trick or treaters, or scaring the heck out of them. And we had these balloons left over, so since we have a place right near there, Sidetracks went in and gave away balloons. And boy, people are afraid of clowns everywhere.
Some, but it was funny because there was a guy. There was one that was afraid, and the other guys were tying the balloons to him. That Norm gave away.
Bring the balloon over here. Bring. Come here, clown. And they knew this guy, and I think it was his party, and he was just freaking right out.
It was so funny.
Yeah,
and then
funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we have for you today. Again, we're going to speak with Doc, who is Dan, Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan. We didn't pick up his card, did we?
We do have his card, but I was using it.
Yeah. That's okay. Go ahead.
So one other, let's just parting little fun thing. If you find yourself posting and sharing selfies all day, then you could have selfitis. That is, at least according to two psychologists, Dr. Martha Griffiths and Dr. Janarthan Bhattacharyanan, who published a paper in the International Journal of Mental Health and Addiction in their study, an exploratory study of selfitis and the development of selfitis behavior scale. The two, can you imagine having that your study? And the two researchers suggested that selfitis, which refers to an excessive selfie taking, should be a diagnosable condition.
Selfitis.
That's stupid.
Well, it was a story that was actually released earlier this month, but I thought it was kind of interesting enough. And again, thanks to UpNorthLive.com and 910 News for helping us with our coverage, plus the ticker, Luke, and the crew. Anyway, let's go ahead and roll that if we can. We have this interview that we did yesterday. There's a couple of suggestions that we do interviews with a couple of things. And one, I cannot think the name of it right now, but it is horseback riding to treat veterans with PTSD, and I'm going to get to that. But yesterday we had an interview with our member of
Dr. Dan from
Dr. Dan. See, now you're just gonna we're gonna go nuts.
Book Brokers.
I know, the Book Brokers.
Roll
tape. Let's go ahead and see what this guy had to say. It's really
he was a teacher
program.
I thought it was interesting. At West Senior High.
Professor.
Wait, I got it. Dan McDougall.
Dr. Dan McDougall. Everybody calls him Doc.
Yep.
So
it's interesting.
You have that'd be great.
I do.
Once again, 3 to 5 inches possible tonight. And here's that piece. hopefully we'll be able to run that. Welcome back to the Norm Jones Show, and we have with us a special guest. At least I think he's special. I think he would agree, though. I just met the man, and I think that, seriously. Dr. Dan McDougall is with us, otherwise known as Doc. Welcome to the show.
All right, well, thank you. It's an incredible opportunity to be here and talk about some amazing things. I always enjoyed your show, so thank you.
I don't know if you ever traced the person who got us your information, but I got it on Facebook. I was looking for an interview, and a lot of people, some called, and they set up me with the information for Book Brokers. Now, a little bit about you personally we learned is that you acquired doctorate degrees and attended Western and MSU and some others. And you taught, of course, and then you spent 20 years as a teacher at Traverse City West Senior High.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity. I had a chance overall to teach for 33 years. I taught college for a number of years, and when I moved up to the area, somebody suggested high school, and it seemed like a great opportunity to work with people, working with the kids, which is the important thing. And so I got a chance to work at Traverse City West for a little over 20 years. And then even the past year after I retired, they kept calling me back to substitute, so I must have done something right.
Yeah. Well, this in addition to your work with Book Brokers, and you have a store, and you answer the phone call at heavens knows what time of the morning. So you're a busy guy. What was the inspiration for Book Brokers? What is it?
Well, basically, Book Brokers is a business, but what we found out is it's kind of morphed into an opportunity to provide goods for individuals who need them. So Book Brokers itself, as a business, we've had several stores. This is actually our 5th store. We ended up selling the other ones over the years as I was teaching and trying to teach and also run a bookstore at the same time. As I did that, I found a lot of things out there that I could get my students involved in and help in the community. I always told my students, you find a need and you fill it. And I felt that I needed to do that myself as well. So with my business, one of the things I noticed is when I work with books, there's a lot of people out there who have books, but they don't know what to do with them. So in my store, you had the opportunity to come in, and they're usually used books, so people come in and they're great deals, and they pick them up. But what I also found is there were a lot of people just wanted to get rid of their books. And I thought there has to be something better. We're getting too many books in the landfills. We've got to find a way to try to get books to individuals. You want to get rid of them? Great. We'll find a way to get them to somebody who wants them. And that's the important thing.
Well, where do people traditionally taken their books besides landfills? I mean, you can donate them to... I'm questioning this. I don't know the answer. To libraries, to...
Yep. Well, there's many organizations in the area. A lot of great charities and foundations and networks, children's programs in particular, because children's books are extremely popular. But we still don't know. You had the books in the household for a long time. Your children have grown up and they've moved on. You say, okay, what do I do with the books? What we can do is we can work with you, whether it's children's books, it's nonfiction, fictional, general, whatever you're looking for. We can make sure that it gets to someone else. And besides the landfills, the libraries were the big ones. Yep. Definitely. A lot of the charities, they would take in books. And what we found is they ended up cutting back because it took so much space. Well, we had an example recently, Clean Up, Green Up. That program was back in November, and I was contacted by the organization. They said, we want to add books. A lot of people have books, they don't know what to do with them. Can you take them in? And we find a way to repurpose them. We get the books, and then we provide them to other organizations. And it's been a great opportunity. So I think we'll continue doing it.
Is it a freebie? In other words, let's say I bring in 20 books, and I've read them, and everybody I know has read them, but don't want to discard them or dispose of them. What's the process?
Well, what we do is a lot of times you take books, you drop them off at charities or libraries and so on, and that's pretty much it. What we do is that you bring in the books, and you can drop them off. We're happy to take them, but you can also drop them off, and then you can use them for trade, so that you have the opportunity, you can pick up books that you want. So individuals bring in the books, they trade. Of course, we still sell books as well. But what we have is people do that, and then we find groups and organizations that we can work with. Salvation Army is a good example. Work with Women's Resource Center. Cherryland Humane Society, we're setting up a program with them right now. A Disability Network is another group that we're going to be working with short. Spark in the Dark is an awesome organization. And what I do is I put out the information saying, if you come by, things are kind of tough, books are always put on the wayside. Here's an opportunity. You can come by and pick up some books for your kids. We've had some excellent examples where people come in and they cry. because they realize they just, they're saying, hey, I'm just trying to pay the bills. It's all I can do. And they can come in and get some books. And sometimes maybe it's pride. We try to decide, is this something that we can do? But they come by, and it really is. It's a great feeling. I can't imagine doing anything else.
Wow. So you're not, okay, is it a nonprofit?
The business
that
itself,
part
actually,
of the book brokers, because I know you have a bookstore, and obviously you need to keep the doors open.
Right. Well, yeah, as we work with the business, obviously, yeah, paying the bills and so on. As a nonprofit, yes, from that standpoint, because the people don't have to pay anything for this kind of program. They bring the books in, other people are interested, and I think one of the an example, a microcosm of the whole thing. I had a father who came in. They've been on tough straits right now, going through a lot, and he came up to me and in a very quiet voice said, "Is this the place where you can get free books?" I almost broke down with that situation. The kids were so excited. They were picking up books, and then the father said, "Well, I want to pay you, or I want to pay something." And I said, "No, let's take care of them." And just to watch their expression was worth it. So they get the books. They're happy. People are bringing them in, and whether it's trade or whether they are dropping them off, they feel good because they know it's going to a good place.
Have you heard of other organizations that do the similar work that you do, book brokers?
I'll be honest, when I started my program years later, I started working with Room to Read. It's an outstanding organization, international, and it was by an executive from Microsoft. And basically he saw that individuals out there, of all the needs they have, books just aren't on the list. So he basically worked to try to provide libraries and computer labs and scholarships for individuals who wouldn't have that opportunity to go on to school. I worked with Room to Read for a number of years, but what I found is we could still do things within our own community. I always tell my students, as I think global, act local. So basically, we set up this opportunity as an initiative to help others, and I'll admit it, I've based a lot of it off of their program and then found ways that we could supply the books for individuals in the community.
We're speaking with Doc. He is with Book Brokers, and you have a brick and mortar, if you will, at Logan's Landing in Traverse City, and that is also where you sell new books.
Yes, we have the used books. We have a little of everything. We try to make sure they're in really good condition. I travel all over the state, and we work through storage units and some businesses and so on. We ended up contacting the bookstores around here when we got ready to open this one, a new reincarnation for Book Brokers that opened July 10th. I contacted all the bookstores and I said, we're not in competition. This is an opportunity to provide basically a good and service to individuals out there who need it. And I've been impressed. The other bookstores have worked with me. We've found ways to work together, and we've collaborated. So by having the books there, the individuals can come by, they can get the books, and then if we don't have them, we can send them to other stores. And while they may not necessarily follow this program, they do contact us when they find books and say, we know exactly who you should be talking to do this. And that's worked really well.
That's what I was wondering, how people could get involved, not just with their own books, but it's a collaboration. And thank goodness for the internet. I'm assuming that's been a boon.
Yeah. The internet's been awesome, but I'll tell you what, it's just like any kind of marketing, word of mouth. Individuals out there, we have people come in, we hand them a card, let them know in terms of what we do. They get them out to other people, and a lot of it is just individuals coming in and saying, what an awesome idea, what can I do? And I think that's a lot of it. I really believe that individuals want to help others. It's just sometimes they're not sure where to go. And in our case, I want to believe that we're providing a need for people out there. They want to learn. They want knowledge. They want to grow. They want opportunities. And I think this is one way to do it.
People might be watching, listening, saying, well, isn't that what libraries do? Can I get a library card and do the same thing? How do you enhance that, or how do you compare and fit in with that?
Oh, I'd never compete with the libraries. I think they're great. I really do. I work with the libraries here. They're just amazing. And they've been very good about getting books to me. They have Friends of the Library sales, or they have other kinds of programs there. And then they have a number of books. We get contacted many times saying, we have this available. We know about your program. Would this help? And, we take them with open arms, and we find ways to get them out to people. And I think that that's critical. But no, please always go to your libraries. They're awesome.
I want to come back to Book Brokers, but I also want to talk about your career. We had a little chat before we actually went on to talk about this. And you taught at universities. And what is primarily what you taught? What was your major, your forte, or was it a lot of different things?
Well, I think it was an opportunity. I think if you honestly asked me in high school if I'd end up being a teacher in the future, I don't know. I'll be honest, and that's true for a lot of high school kids. They're not sure what they want to do in the future. As time went on, things became a little clearer. I decided, this is what I want to do. I want an opportunity to be in the classroom. I want to teach, but I also want to learn. And I feel that it's something you can do the rest of your life. So I ended up teaching at Western Michigan University, Michigan State University, Florida State University. When I moved back up to the area, I'm originally from Manistee, so I know the area well. Somebody suggested high school. And I thought, in college, a lot of these kids have the decision. They've already decided what they want to do. But in high school, they're still not sure, because I remember that for me.
Yeah.
So as the kids come in, I get a chance to work with them. I get a chance to be a mentor. I get a chance to really see what they want to do. And sometimes they just want somebody to talk to. So when we did that, and I worked in terms of these kind of programs, my best supporters have been my students. I mean, they're amazing. They're my kids.
Well, when you talk about books, I mean, it could be great literature, it could be novels, it could be factual, could be history. I mean, it just really runs the gamut.
Right.
So what most interested you, and even specifics that you taught, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Oh, okay. Well, I had the opportunity teaching economics and finance and marketing. I enjoyed those thoroughly. It was an opportunity to learn how things worked and then to find out how we could become a part of it. I think economics is critical for that. So in terms of the interest, I'll admit that's influenced a lot of the things that I do myself. Within the store, I love nonfiction. And of course, it is looking at economics. I think it's important for all of us to learn about it so that we can get involved and be knowledgeable in the decisions that we make. So I think that that's helped within the schools itself, and watching my students, my kids, and seeing what they're doing, I can see they're definitely applying what we've done and then how they can be successful themselves.
Dr. Dan McDougall is our guest. You may know him as Doc. He is with Book Brokers. We spoke a bit about that, and I went, after I graduated, I thought the two things that really interest me, or I think should be focused upon, personal finances and or relationships. And what do people have as a number one disagreement with relationships? Money. So it comes back to the real world, and you say that there's real practical application. Why don't you expound on that? I think that's really something that's needed and neat.
Well, it's interesting. Having the opportunity to teach all the universities and then have the chance to teach at the high school. I love teaching economics. It was fun. It was kind of neat. One of the great opportunities, I got to meet virtually all the students within the program. And as we did that, I wanted to find more application. And we found through personal finance, students get a chance then to work on loans, or they work on budgeting, or they work on plans to basically decide, okay, this is what I want to accomplish in the future. This is what I want to do. What's it going to cost? And that's the challenge. As individuals go through this, they say, okay, well, I'm going to have the nicest car. I'll have the nicest home. I'm going to have the nicest of everything. Okay, great. What's going to be your career? How are you going to save up? What are you going to do in the future? What about children? What about other events within your life or things that happen? We hope everything's good, but sometimes they aren't. How do you prepare for that? And that's what we found through the budgeting process, and within personal finance itself. Students were able to apply it, and they've used it. And I have a number of students. I had a great example just the other day. A student sent me a note, and thank God for the internet, sent me a note and said, boy, I thought we would never use that stuff. And the other day I was working on my budget, and I was going, I wonder what Doc would think of this. And I was going, okay, it worked.
Well, that's neat. That's the reward of teaching, isn't it?
It really is.
That is fantastic. People, again, get a hold of you, I'm assuming, by a website?
Yes. They can go to www.bookbrokers1.com, or they can also check us on Facebook. We're also available on Twitter. And just drop us an email at bookbrokers1@gmail.com.
You've had a fascinating life, and what's next for you? You're on this mission. You told me how many places, by the way, you have to travel today.
Yeah.
You're all over.
Yeah, I really am. And that's the plans over this next week will end up happening, because I know we're going to be limited. It's always a situation. I get contacted by places. Again, the bookstores have been awesome at this. The libraries have been amazing. Former students have been a great source in terms of getting the information on what's available. We're traveling up to Sutton's Bay. We're going to be working through some stock and getting some inventory and bringing them back. I also have a place up in Presque Isle County that's contacted me, would like me to come up to take take a look at some books up there. Also down in Royal Oak, a store is closed. They'd like the opportunity, and something I really appreciate. The reason they're calling, they could call anybody. But I have people that call me and say they appreciate my passion. They can see what I'm trying to do, and they want to make sure that these books are used again, that make sure that somebody gets them, that somebody enjoys them. And that's where this has really worked. So a lot of traveling around the state. That's what we're working on right now. I'm trying to get a bigger vehicle, whether it's a delivery truck, a bus, whatever it takes. But we need more space because we're bringing in a lot of product right now.
Well, that's fantastic. Once again, Book Brokers, Doc has been our guest, and you may be watching on the Norm Jones Show on Facebook or listening to your information station in Northern Michigan. That's 1110, 1210, and 101 FM, WJML. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.